Football with friends is fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap here with Cody Carpentier on a big Tuesday edition of the show. It feels like a Monday, but Cody, we're back at it here, surrounded by lovely plants in lovely Mobile, Alabama, where we're here for the 2025 Senior Bowl. We're going to have that to get to. We have a lot of smoke coming in about a possible new commitment. So we're going to talk about that. It is Football with Friends. We have friends here staying with us at the Airbnb. We're going to have some of them come join us, talk about their thoughts from day one of the Senior Bowl. But Cody, before we get started, I think what we need to do is give a big congratulations to Mr. KJ Lacy.
KJ Lacy just within the last hour was named Alabama's most prestigious award for high school football, Mr. Football. In his career, 10,985 yards, which is second all-time in Alabama. I'm not sure who's first. 132 touchdowns in his career. 3-time first-team All-State, Under Armour All-American, et cetera, et cetera.
How many? 10,000 how many yards?
10,985 yards.
That's almost like I think he's throwing for like a mile.
Ooh, that's a good one. How many yards? Where's Grok at? In a mile.
It's
1760 yards. Well, I mean, technically he's thrown for about 10 miles.
Oh, because it's 5,280 feet. Yeah, okay. So he can throw it from all the way from here to 10 times past the stadium. So congratulations to KJ Lacy. Cody, on the cover we have Felix Ojo, who is the offensive. I'll ask you what you think about him. But we not only have Ketchum and Felix Ojo, 2026 from Mansfield, Texas. What is his? Okay, so all right, 6'7", 279, and we now offensive tackle, left tackle, and we now basically have Ketchum putting in a future cast for this guy. We have a bunch of the other big name guys from a bunch of the other services, all just a flood of future casts coming out. Ketchum puts out 7 future casts coming out of Junior Day. Felix Ojo right at the very top. We'll talk about some of the other ones that he put out and what those might mean. But it feels like there's a lot of momentum coalescing around Felix Ojo. We watched him today after we got home from Senior Bowl practices. What do you think about this guy? There's a lot of steam right now.
You know what I like is that, we've talked about John Turntine. I've told you what I feel about Emmanuel Iheanacho, the massive number 2 ranked tackle in the country. Everybody knows Jackson Cantwell.
Hold on. Well, I forgot what you think about Emmanuel Iheanacho.
I think he's he's massive. I think his upside he's got like 86 and a half, 87-inch wingspan. He is a Goliath, but he's a baby face. And there's so much. I watched him down at the elite camp in Jacksonville last year with Jason, and he went against Jakeem Stewart, and Jakeem Stewart was the top-ranked edge rusher, top-ranked kid in the 26 class, reclassified to 25 and was top 10 in the class. Little overrated. But Iheanacho faced him one-on-one and beat him 2 out of 3 attempts and stonewalled. I mean, he's a year younger than him. But Iheanacho's I think when you look about projecting like this whole class to the NFL, Iheanacho's the one that's going to get drafted the highest in 3 years. So I think he's there. Jackson Cantwell, everybody knows Jackson Cantwell as the number 1 offensive tackle. John Turntine, who we've talked about a lot. And then
rightfully so.
We talked about Zayden Krempin. But the thing is that coming out of that Junior Day, and I can pull up the list, but I'm just not going to interrupt myself. But what my takeaway is with the Felix Ojo thing is that there's a lot of offensive linemen, including 5 minutes ago, we saw Coach Milwee is meeting with Lamar Brown, who's the number 1 interior offensive lineman right now in Louisiana. And they're making a push for a ton of high 4 stars and 5 stars in the offensive line, but they're not the guys that are up here. It's not the Iheanacho, it's not Cantwell, which is where A&M is focusing. It's the Krempin, Turntine, Lamar Brown, Ojo, and there's like, a couple other guys.
Hold on. But Turntine's a 5-star.
I know, but I'm saying those are the top 2 ranked guys. Cantwell and Iheanacho.
Got it.
That was my point.
Do you whenever I watched Felix Ojo today, I looked at him and I said, okay, this guy for an offensive tackle who is somewhat developmental, and you got to think of him as developmental because he does have a little bit of kind of string bean to him, just still a little bit, right? Very long legs, very long arms. We always talk about the whole Great Dane theory, right? The big paws and everything like that. He certainly has it. We're super coordinated, but what I will say is that he moves just as well in every single direction. It's very weird whenever you look at his junior highlights and you can see that a lot of these highlights come on pass plays, right? You don't see that very much with a lot of these players, that they can move well in basically all 8 directions, right? They can pivot inside, they can take power steps to, for their down blocks. They can take reach block steps and then outside zone complete lateral steps. He does it all really well and moves really well. But the thing about him, when he takes with those long legs, he takes those reach block steps. He's got these super long arms, and you just look at him, you're like, man, this guy can reach, all the way out to the hash mark from right in the middle of the field. And you think, oh, all right, well, when he fills out, is he going to be able to keep that same level of ability to move the way that he does now? Because the way he plays, we have the huddle on right now. We're watching it. I mean, he plays strong, and what I really love about him is he's a nasty finisher. Like he's one of these guys that even after like almost even past the whistle, like look at that one. It's kind of past the whistle. It doesn't matter. He wants to put somebody on the ground, right? It's the old put their what in the dirt that your high school coach used to say. He prescribes to that, and this is the kind of developmental player that's just a little bit different. It's a little bit of a different kind of different bite of the apple than you took in 2023 with the whole large humans thing, right? Where you just bring in Kojo and you bring in Connor Stroh and you bring in Peyton Kirkland and you bring in all these dudes that are just the biggest, and hope that they're going to go ahead and pan out. We've seen out of the 2023 class, it's interesting that Trevor Goosby is the one that's turned out to be the legit stud, right?
And we'll see this year if there's one more maybe on the other side, depending on Brandon Baker.
Right. Well, but that's 20. He's 2024.
No, I know, but I'm talking about Kojo.
Well, right. As far as Kojo, whether or not he can push Baker,
you could potentially see Kojo be the one that we don't know.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, Brandon Baker's still like a kind of a black box prospect. We haven't seen that much of him yet. But what I mean to say with Ojo is that this is sort of a return to all right. Let's get a guy with these elite traits, this elite length. He's man. You can just go on YouTube and just type in Felix Ojo. The first thing that'll pop up is from Sooner Scoop, which I thought was Rivals, and I thought we could just show the videos, but apparently it's not. That look at him at the OU camp and just look at his body and just realize that this kind of baby-faced dude with these,
I don't think anybody wants to see Felix Ojo anywhere near Oklahoma because they just.
Yeah,
but I get your point. I'm just saying like the Fasuzi thing.
Well, but if you watch him just like 60 seconds of just clips from that camp, what you'll see is like, man, you can watch the huddle and see it too, but just in little movement drills and stuff, you can just, man, the length, the reach, everything. It is a true developmental kind of left tackle player, and it's gonna be a tiny bit of a slow bake, but we don't come in and talk about these guys as far as, predicting commitments and things like that, unless we're getting it not only from it's coming from everywhere. There's smoke from everywhere, which makes me think it might not be one of these things that lasts until, summer.
Mm-hmm.
It could be one of these things that kind of pops off pretty quick is some kind of, some kind of thing where it's like, it's time. It's kind of time to start filling out the class around the quarterback. Right. And Ojo hadn't been anybody that I really, thought deeply about and really considered and thought about how he fits into what Texas is trying to do as far as line building. But it's a different kind of little strategy and a different kind of piece to throw in a guy like this that is like 6'7", probably the longest wingspan of anybody on the entire offensive line that Texas currently has.
I don't know what Kojo's wingspan is.
Well,
Or not Goosby, sorry.
Oh, I think this is the longer wingspan than Trevor Goosby. It has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean the guy reaches to the sidelines. It's just a different kind of player, an exciting type of player, and I think that whenever you look at how Texas has been building this offensive line, it's been interesting that year by year.
81.5.
Okay.
Pretty big. Pretty good.
81.5-inch wingspan.
34-inch arms.
Okay.
NFL size.
It's just like you come into the Senior Bowl and you come in with 81.5-inch arms and they're talking about how this guy's super long at left tackle. So it's like this is an exciting development. So good to see everybody here today. We already have a bunch of people piling in, and man, pumped to be here. We have our friends here with us in the house. Our buddy Theo is going to hop on here in a minute, talk a little bit of Senior Bowl with Cody. I don't think Jason's coming in today, but we could have Jason. Anand is here too. You guys love him. We're going to have these guys come on. It is indeed football with friends. It's fun as hell. But as long as we're talking about left tackle at Texas, today at the Senior Bowl, and this isn't on our list of topics, Cody, but today when I was watching Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M,
dude,
what?
I thought you were going to go to the Alabama A&M kid.
Well, the Alabama A&M offensive tackle is ridiculous.
That kid would make $3 million tomorrow.
Oh, if he could have come back
to portal.
Yeah, but he's not going to need it because
he's a first-round pick.
Vinson is his last name from Alabama A&M. He's going to be a first-round pick. We got to see some really good one-on-one reps with him versus Shamar Stewart. But anyway, Shamar Stewart today. So we're there watching the American practices, the second practices today, and Stewart's there. The other A&M guys, like the Texas guys, pulled out.
Mm-hmm.
Should we just address the Texas guys pulling out before I get to my thing about Goosby and Shamar? Let me just end this thing about Shamar Stewart. Whenever I think about that Texas A&M game, and I think about Trevor Goosby, and I think about the times that he lined up versus Shamar Stewart in that football game, and I watched Shamar Stewart today versus some of the best there are, and I see his length, and I see his burst off the line of scrimmage, and I see his hand fighting moves, I see his hand technique, I see his ability to convert basically any way that he wanted to in team drills. I got to thinking, I'm like, how did Trevor Goosby get out of that game? And I was looking at it in the deep dig. How did Trevor Goosby get out of that game scoring an 81.32 in the deep dig and allowing no disruption outside of one false start penalty?
In his first full game.
Like, getting thrown into the fire. It's like we talk about how much Texas needs to rebuild and reload and I get it, and we have all offseason to talk about it. But something like this today, it puts it in perspective that Goosby was in that game. His coming out party was elite.
Mm-hmm.
Elite.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have come to the Senior Bowl and played like he played in that A&M game against a guy like Stewart's a monster. He at the end of practice, they do this stuff, right? What the coaches do at the end of the Senior Bowl practices is they get all the players all around, right? And then they'll say from the University of, from LSU, let's get Emory Jones out here. And then they say from Kentucky, let's get Deion Walker out here. And they go one-on-one and whoever wins, if the defense wins, the offense all does push-ups. If the offense but they always bring out the best players, right? Last
But
year,
they didn't do push-ups to the last one.
I'll never forget last year. The push-up one was Quinyon Mitchell, who's gone on to be like he's an absolute staple for the Philadelphia Eagles right now in their secondary. Just a dynamite rookie. We told you last year. Versus Roman Wilson from Michigan, who had a really big Senior Bowl and hasn't hurt. He's been hurt for the Steelers all year. And that was like the last one that they did, right? The last one that they did today was this big offensive tackle from Alabama A&M, and it was what I was calling from Cody. I said the last one's going to be 76 and it's going to be 14, and those are the two. And of course, Alex, the practice whisperer. Got it exactly right. And 76 from Alabama A&M stoned him, right? But it doesn't take away from what he did through the rest of the game or through the rest of the day, especially in team drills, which is most important. Man, and I can't get it out of my head that Goosby he handled that guy.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about this comment from our guy, S. Roan? He says, it sounds crazy, but I think Goosby has a higher ceiling at tackle than Banks.
Well, I mean, that's hard to say. I mean, Banks has been the best offensive tackle Texas has had since I've been doing this. So that's hard to say. But Goosby, it went off without a hitch.
I don't think it's outlandish.
No, I don't. I mean,
because Banks was like, boom, he hit right away.
Goosby is but
and then hit
when he got his opportunity, he hit right away.
Yeah, but I'm saying like as far as day one, Banks came in. And just like he was there, Goosby, he was there for a year, and then he came in at the end of the second year, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think we've seen the best of him yet either. Just like Banks, you didn't see the best of Banks. Actually, according to the Deep Dig,
I have to
go to your historical.
If you as far as his right, as far as his snaps per disruption allowed, but as far as his deep dig grades, I'm pretty sure that this was the best one.
Back now,
chat. Do you want to let us know? Chat, are we?
I think we're
okay. All right.
Do you want to talk to Theo?
So let's just give the update on what's going on with the Texas players here.
Okay.
So only Barron Sorrell showed up. We have no Andrew Makuba, no Gunnar Helm, no Vernon Broughton, no Alfred Collins. And at the Shrine Bowl, we had no Jaden Blue. And we'll have a little bit more about Jaden Blue in the war room. So you guys let us know if we're breaking in and out. If so, we'll see if we get something getting a little bit better with the internet. But it's showing us that we have a pretty good connection for right now. Maybe we should close out some of the let's close out some of these other tabs and see if that helps. Okay, so you guys got to understand that we're working with what we have here, and hopefully we tested it. Hopefully it's going to be okay.
Yeah, hopefully. It was drawn pretty good before.
Yeah,
it is what it is. No Jaden Blue at the Shrine Bowl. A lot of guys opted out here, but the point is it's been in line with Ohio State, in line with Notre Dame, outside of Riley Leonard.
Yep.
And there's a problem. There's a problem that needs to be figured out for the pre-draft guys.
And what Cody's saying is like the whole problem is the college football playoff. It really lasts a long time, right? And so if with the Texas players, people on the board and stuff, they were asking, it's like, well, what's going on with them? With Jaden Blue, it's a different situation. He didn't handle his situation well, and we're gonna have more about that in the war room.
Yep.
With the Texas guys here at the Senior Bowl, from all we've heard, things were handled well. This was a situation where players were just saying, "Man, it was a long season, dude. Not a single Ohio State player showed up. Barron Sorrell showed up. I think did one Penn State guy show up? I'm not sure there was even one. Is there one Penn State guy here?
I don't even think there's one.
Riley Leonard shows up. He needs it. Will Howard needed this week.
He did, and he might have looked the best if he would have showed up. That's the messed up thing.
The craziest thing that people are going to hear whenever Theo comes on here, we talk Senior Bowl, is how good Dylan Gabriel has been looking.
Well, I don't know how bad they want to hear that, but I think they're going to.
Yeah. So don't worry about Gunnar Helm, Makuba, Collins, Broughton. Even though those guys all could have been guys that really helped themselves with a good week here, it's not like those guys are anywhere near locked into any sort of status, right? They could have come in and really helped themselves. But I can understand why their agents would have talked to Nagy and said, "Look, man, it's the same thing as with the rest of the Ohio State guys. Same thing with the rest of the Notre Dame guys outside of Riley Leonard and what's the number 20, the linebacker? I forget his name.
Oh my Cross. It's not Cross. Klein.
No, it's something. Whatever. But they have a linebacker here too. It's just
Kaiser.
The playoff lasted too long, and their agents are saying we need to take some time off before the combine and for our training and for all the rest of it. And that's what the Texas guys said, and they're going to be banking on their combine performances. And so we'll see. As we said, different story with Jaden Blue and the way he handled his Shrine Bowl process. We'll have more on that in the war room. Quickly, any thoughts on Barron Sorrell today?
I thought he was fighting an uphill battle. He's the most talented defense of line is on his team.
Yes.
And he was fighting an uphill battle to get reps.
Yes.
And to show. And I think he fought through it and got there. I think he got there.
Because on that same line at his same, like lining up at his same spot for one-on-ones and all the rest of this stuff is Kennard from South Carolina, and then Princely Umamalin from Ole Miss, and then you got Barron Sorrell, and so he's always kind of like the third or the fourth one in. During team drills, during one-on-ones, there was one really good one-on-one that he had over on the side where he kind of tosses the guy down, makes a good move. Other than that, not too much noise he made in one-on-ones. But we got into the second team drills where they had a three-quarter speed team drills, and then they had full speed team drills. And Barron Sorrell, on his first snap of the full speed team drills, gets what a would-be TFL, but you have to stay up, right? I think that was on either RJ Harvey or Jarquez Hunter. Mm-hmm. But you have to stay up. So he kind of hits him, puts his hands up. It would have been a TFL. And then on that same series, takes the what's that M helmet with the T or something on it, that right guard. Do you know what I'm talking about? I forget who he is. Anyway, he takes him, jackknife moves him, bull rush, right back into, I believe, Milrow. And it was an insane pressure that would have ended up in a Milrow sack. So 2 really good plays and team drills from Barron Sorrell. He's here doing a good job for himself. I think that's sort of Sorrell's doing fine, mm-hmm. But he's unfortunately playing on the American team. It would be a lot easier to not be outshined if he was playing on the national team.
The national team. I couldn't even tell you who the key edge rushers on the national team was. Josiah Stewart and Mike Green. And
who's the Minnesota guy?
The Minnesota kid, Ja Joyner.
17.
Ja Joyner. Landon Jackson was also, Lance's brother.
Dude, Landon Jackson was a little bit of a no-show today.
Yeah, he came in also undersized.
Tomorrow we'll have media day with these guys. I'm going to talk to Barron about this stuff, about why he chose to come and all the rest of that stuff. The good news is, look, we have beef jerky back. We have beef jerky back for you guys. Texas Beef Traders. Have you heard about it? Beef jerky from Texas Beef Traders. It is probably the best beef jerky that you've ever had. Here, look, Theo, Cody, we go grab that bag of beef jerky from in my room.
I'm going to try it live on the air.
Yeah, try it live. It'll be delicious. We have it back. You can scan the QR code there. It's good to go, ready to go. Let them see the packaging. Tasty as hell. Beef jerky, cowboy blend, right here. All right, Texas Beef Traders. Help us out. Go get some. I have. Speaking of Texas Beef Traders, so I got an email from our guy Tom saying he went by Texas Beef Traders. Let me just read you this. He said he emailed me at fwfemails@gmail.com to say this. He goes, hey brothers, just want to let you know. Thanks for letting us know about Texas Beef Traders, but to stop there about our visit would be a disservice to all allowed. We rolled in there with no expectations, really. We left feeling like we made lifelong friends. Darren was great. He not only handed us our jerky, but he gave us several additional packages. But after that, he invited us to stay and try some of their food. And man, it was some of the most fantastic flavors, the best hummus we've ever tasted, a wine my wife loved, and a plate of picanha that could actually be life-altering, but also tremendous conversation and so much knowledge about the food and the prep. And we left with tallow and with drop peppers and goat horn pepper oil, which are things that we didn't even know existed when we walked in. These are all things that he tells you, like these are things that make steaks taste great, right? He said, we're also fortunate to meet with another small group that came in after we were there. We were able to share food with them and enjoy visiting. If we weren't set on making it to Moody for the game, we would have just stayed there the rest of the night. In fact, our visit made such an impact on us, we're going to adjust our future plans when traveling to Austin to where we can do just that, stay longer. I really appreciate both you and Darren. Solid dudes, good hearts, good people. Thanks for the experience. That's what you get at Texas Beef Traders. TexasBeefTraders.com. We tell you all about the jerky. The beef shop. You get 10% off. Let them know you heard about them on Football with Friends. Right there in the heart of Lakeway, man. Texas Beef Traders. TexasBeefTraders.com. And so now I hand the mic off to Cody to interview the great Theo Grimminger about his big day. His first day
at the Senior Bowl.
At the Senior Bowl.
And the jerky is absolutely delicious.
You like it?
Fantastic.
Cowboy blend. Little peppery.
Delicious.
Where's that cowboy blend?
It's over there hiding so you can't get any more. Cowboy blend. Rate it 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
It's delicious. Delicious. I could eat the whole bag right now.
You couldn't. The problem is people don't know Theo doesn't just eat meat. He's not carnivorous. He has to have some greens in there. No grass, no lettuce.
I do. I like to keep it balanced. No, not straight carnivore, but it's delicious.
Theo Grimminger from Fantasy Points and from Player Profiler, grinder of all things fantasy and football. Day one, first ever Senior Bowl for Theo Grimminger. Biggest recap, biggest thought from day one.
The tight end class is really, really good. Gunnar Helm doesn't show up. Harold Fannin Jr. has a quiet day, and we still walk away like super excited about this tight end class. Like Elijah Arroyo, I think is a second-round pick in the NFL draft after today. Looked every bit the part. And Cody, like we've talked about, like how the tight end position in the NFL is all these 6'4" kind of overgrown tight end, wide receivers that are like 249, 250. Yeah. That's Elijah Arroyo. He's like 6'4.5", 251, but he moves like a wide receiver, looks the part. Very impressed with him. Mason Taylor, LSU, is an absolute unit. Like that's an NFL tight end right there. So both of those guys shine. So for me, it's like if Harold Fannin has a better day two, this class is just really, really good, really, really deep. Terrence Ferguson wasn't bad either. Like there's a lot to this class. I'll be curious because I know that we often have gone back and forth during NFL draft time. Usually I'm a little bit more of like all these tight ends are getting to round one. You're a little bit more of a realist. But I think this year, like Warren and Loveland are first round locks.
Yeah.
And I think another tight end could join them in the first round.
That would be crazy.
I think it could be 3 this year.
Who was it? I can't even remember the class it was. Was it Evan Ingram's year?
The David Njoku year.
Yeah.
Well, I think there was 3 with OJ Howard.
Yeah.
OJ Howard, David Njoku, and who was the third? I can't remember, but anyway,
It
that
wasn't
was
Ingram, was it? Ingram was later than that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, there was 3
it's
there
been a while.
that year.
Ingram and Howard were both in the same Senior Bowl.
Yeah, then that was the
was
class.
So
But
that was your 3. Here's the thing. Like, Gunnar Helm, for the Texas fans listening, Gunnar Helm, the thought coming out of today was that Elijah Arroyo pretty much took and ran with that tight end 3 spot. Everybody's, you talk about Warren and Loveland.
Yep.
Elijah Arroyo from Miami showed up today, grabbed it, left with it, and nobody even tried to take it back from him. And we kind of thought coming in that Gunnar Helm was potentially going to be able to be put in that conversation. We talked about him on this show being potentially in the running for the Mackey this year. He was outstanding for Texas. Didn't come today. Obviously, he was an opt-out. Lost ground without being here. And then you talked about Fannin and Mason Taylor. It's a pretty good tight end class in totality.
Yeah, but honestly, like with what Helm showed in the college football playoffs, like this could have been kept the momentum going and been like icing on the cake. But he's already done so much, and if anything, it's like the second round is going to be loaded with tight ends as well. So the tight end class, I think, like the whole narrative for me for several months when we talk about this draft class has been just how great the running back class is, and it really is. It's a great running back class. But I think tight end, it's also sort of a transformative year. We've got several like older tight ends in the NFL, and now you've got this class coming in that's going to get the draft capital, and they've got the talent. So I love this tight end class.
One more thing that happens at practice, especially here in Mobile when it doesn't rain. When it rains, you got to pull the poncho out. Maybe we don't get to go to practice. Not the poncho that you guys are thinking of, the one that I'm wearing and that Alex is wearing, but the poncho that covers you up from the rain and the sun. You can see we both took the L today.
Oh, yeah.
Against the sun. That's one of the top rules. Alex had a gator on today. Alex, obviously you could tell, didn't get burnt. Theo got some sun the first time ever at the Senior Bowl. Quarterback, come in. What was your thoughts coming in when we talk about Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, Riley Leonard, I guess to a certain extent, and Dylan Gabriel, the former Oklahoma quarterback that Texas fans don't really want to hear about, but they're going to hear about right now. When you came in, what'd you think versus what the result was in day one?
It's always funny trying to like evaluate quarterbacks because
this is the toughest thing in the sport.
Yeah, and it's like when we watch the running backs and the wide receivers and the tight ends, you get to see the one-on-one drills. Like for the quarterbacks, a lot of quarterback play is timing, familiarity with your weapons, like that sort of thing can elevate certain quarterbacks more so than others. I'll say the 2 quarterbacks that were the 2 highest profile quarterbacks here, Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe, I thought had quiet, if not like unspectacular days. So it was like anybody walking in here saying Jalen Milroe, Jalen Milroe for me, obviously the fantasy ceiling would be there because of the mobility he has at the position. So really he's one we're rooting for to get that draft capital to like improve our Superflex Dynasty rookie drafts. But today was not a win for him. Jackson Dart also, like you can see some things there, but it was not quite what I wanted to see. But I'll say like, Dylan Gabriel, you've made some great points about, Cody. He's got the experience. He certainly was probably the best quarterback in that first session. Mm-hmm. So Dylan Gabriel's small, but Dylan Gabriel's experienced, and this is a guy that I think will be an NFL backup, but would have opportunities. So day 2 will be a big one for the quarterbacks, and I think they'll look better. Even a second practice throwing passes to the same guys should help these quarterbacks and the timing of everything and just getting used to it down here. So 3 days matter for the quarterbacks. But I do think what's like last year, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, it's not like after day 1 of the Senior Bowl, everybody's pounding the table saying these guys are first-round picks in the NFL draft.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what we were saying a year ago. Both these guys stink.
Yeah, so there you go.
That's what we were saying. So last question, Theo. Before we came on here, you said, I'm going to go on there and talk about the Big 12.
No. It's a long day, guys.
You said I want to talk to all the Texas fans about the Big 12 and RJ Harvey. So I want to ask you a question about the Big 12. RJ Harvey, Devin Neal, who Texas fans know, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel. Who was the most impressive Big 12 player that you watched today?
Well, you can make an argument that all four of those guys won.
Ollie Gordon's also in that mix.
So Ollie Gordon for me, I'm sure Cody's already talked about Ollie Gordon, but Ollie Gordon is of course, Texas fans saw Oklahoma State against Texas in the Big 12 championship. Ollie Gordon was a guy where dynasty and regular fantasy football, Cody, you've not really lowered him significantly in your ranks, but if you look at a lot of ranks and you just look at dynasty rankings out there, Ollie Gordon's a guy that a year ago at this time, people had like up there right next to behind Ashton Genty. Mm-hmm. And then this year it's been sort of a slow drip. Oklahoma State won 3 games. Ollie Gordon's production goes down, but he looks the part. He's 6'1", he's 233, and he carries it well. This is a guy where I said on another podcast a little while ago that after today, I'd be surprised if Ollie Gordon's not a day 2 pick.
Yep.
I think he's a day 2 pick in the NFL draft. He's going to get maybe late second, third round draft capital. I was very, very impressed with him. I came here with regards to the Iowa State wide receivers. I came here thinking that this is going to be a big Jaden Higgins day.
Be same with me and Alex.
And we said to each other, like right in warmups, like I had like it's like when you watch the warmups before the actual team warmups, the vibes I was getting from Jalen Noel was like Jalen Noel showed up. This guy's ready to go. And Jalen Noel was really, really good. And also with his slot skills, depending on where he lands, I think he could be good. So this was, and RJ Harvey for me, like we talked about him, he doesn't do anything poorly. He's well built. He catches the ball well. He runs well. So like he was definitely one that was a winner from today. So overall, like there was a lot of positives today. It was really a fun experience, and a couple of guys that I was not necessarily expecting to be as good, like Noel and Harvey, move up a little bit for me. Brashard Smith too, just state of Texas. Brashard Smith was really, really good. Was excellent in all the pass catching one-on-one drills, which we sort of expected. But Cody, he ripped off a couple of runs where I'm like, I did not expect that from Brashard Smith. Very, 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 very impressive today.
All right, there we go. We got our update from the Senior Bowl. You guys got to meet Theo Greminger, our good friend from Fantasy Points and Player Profile. Go follow him on Twitter at the OG Fantasy, because that's the game he plays, fantasy football. He's a legend. Theo, we appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, Cody.
Thanks, brother.
There's Theo.
As a Texas family-owned business, we know you don't mess with Texas. And you won't find more ways to raise a glass of Texas-made cheer than right here. So whatever you're planning, we're ready to get you ready. Because
All right, Football with Friends is indeed fun as hell. We have people in the chat asking about, they're asking about Taj Brooks. Did you notice anything about him at the Shrine Bowl?
Shrine Bowl, third best back there behind Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt from Arizona. And just, I think him and Corey Kiner from Cincinnati back to back. Taj was good. Taj is a bowling ball. He's a good back. Some stuff out of the backfield I didn't love. Some footwork stuff I didn't love. He's a good back. He's going to be a fine 5th-round back in the NFL that I think will excel, and he'll be a value in the fantasy football landscape.
All right.
The Jason Suckamel doppelganger thing, I think, is interesting. That's an interesting comp for Theo.
That was a comp for Theo.
JD's comp for Theo was Jason Suckamel doppelganger. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Dude, I would love to see a leg wrestling match between Theo and Suckamel, dude. All right, so I put together a couple of. We don't have too much longer left, but I did put together a few Tuesday topics we might want to hit on. So we already talked about the predictions coming in for Felix Ojomo. So
Ojo.
Or for Felix.
Ojomo is going to be in the Super Bowl.
Moro is going to be in the Super Bowl for sure.
Who's Ojomo?
Moro.
Who is Ojomo? Is there an Ojomo? Or did you just combine Kojo, Ojo, and Oromo?
Moro Ojomo, right?
Moro Ojomo, Felix Ojo, and Andre Kojo.
All right. How about this one?
That's a little bit there.
So Pat Coogan
is
slipping away,
gone. They said that the official visits came Ole Miss, Michigan, and there was a third one. But he's got official visits planned, and there's no Texas official visit planned. So that tells me he's gone. Not slipping away, gone.
So does that mean that Flood thinks he's set without any more offensive line additions?
I don't think so because, they were obviously like sniffing, and I have some notes on Pregnon.
We got to keep that for the war room.
No, I know. I got some notes on Pregnon that's going to be in the war room on Thursday that you want to hear because there's some numbers involved and some reasons involved. That's interesting, but it wasn't because they didn't try, or it's not because they didn't have the money or the funds to go get the lineman. So I wonder what the deal will be with Coogan if maybe they didn't value him the same as the Pregnon. We did. I think we thought that Coogan would have been something that I didn't think Pregnon was
is
a guy.
Pregnon even that much better?
Well, here's the thing. No, Pregnon had a knee injury the year before last, and Oregon wanted him, but they didn't want to give him any money. So he went to USC for like $200K, and then he got better and ended up obviously getting a bigger deal. He's not up here though. He's good. He's a good guard. Coogan is a very good center. And I think when we talked about both guys in the context was that Pregnon would have been very good to have on the other side of DJ Campbell because they're kind of the same. Pregnon's a little bit better. Coogan ties your whole line together. Like, when you're tying your shoes, when you have a brand new pair of shoes and there's no shoelaces in it, and you're over, right? That's Coogan. Coogan brings the whole thing together, ties the entire offensive line together. That's a bigger deal than I think than Pregnon would have been.
No, I do too. But here's the thing. Do you know who sits around thinking about the Texas offensive line even more than we do? Kyle Flood.
Yep.
And
and also knows them better.
And if he doesn't think that center, that particular guy, is the one that's going to tie this thing together the way that I've felt like it could, just because it could open up Cole Hudson to at least fight with Neto, Muselo there for that left guard spot, and just kind of make everything to where there's a little bit more competition if he just comes in and he's center, right? It makes me think that he thinks that he's got it. He thinks he's got it as far as that's concerned. The whole thing with Pregnon, though, is, why would he want more guard specific help?
I think
as opposed to center specific help for a guy that
Hudson. I think it tells you what he thinks Hudson could do. Hudson maybe feels better about Hudson.
Well, he's certainly shown a lot more
trust.
Yeah, just sort of trust and reliability in Hudson than the general fan base does, or maybe that even I do from doing the charting and seeing the snaps or the disruption that he allows on a per snap basis. But it was a guy. That's a guy that Kyle Flood started as a freshman, and he won't even let DJ Campbell get his full run at right guard any game all season. It's always been a 66-33 split until the final game of the year when it was 50-50. Right, so he's always wanted to keep Hudson involved. I put up the poncho thing there, man. You guys can scan the QR code. Cody and I are both wearing poncho today. I was wearing this out to the game. I'm telling you,
the pearls, baby.
I had to use the inside of my lens cloth earlier, right here, to clean off my binoculars. Right? These shirts are made for whatever you face in the outdoors, man. Whether it's just sitting, watching football practice, or going to fill in deer feeders, all of it, man. Poncho has been such a great sponsor. We thank those guys so much. And I also want to say, S-Row 45 saying, well, we better develop what we have. And to S-Row 45, what I'm going to say is we talked about Goosby earlier and stuff, right? You've seen developing what you have, what can occur there, right? Even when you're developing guys that nobody was out of Melissa, Texas, and you're not even sure what this dude's going to be.
Which is why I tend to believe and just trust it. Trust the process, man.
Yeah. Trust the process. One super interesting thing about this week is that we're going to get to go see our friend Andy Ludecky, who lives here in the Mobile area from myperfectfranchise.net. Have you heard about myperfectfranchise.net? look, if you're looking to get out of the corporate rat race, if you just want to, if you're somebody that just wants to make a passive income, or if you're somebody that's kind of maybe in between careers and just looking to do something different, you maybe want to work for yourself, you just don't know just what to do, call Andy, wherever you are in America, 404-973-9901. What he's going to do is he's going to help you find a franchise that's perfect for you, and he's going to be able to do it from the headspace of a dude who's done it for himself. Andy is rich. I mean, he is rich. You should see the neighborhood that he lives in out here. Like, what he's made for himself has been amazing with these franchises, and what he's learned through this whole process is just how to navigate it, how to make sure that you're getting into a spot, like getting into a market where your services are needed, how to find a niche, right? Andy is so rich. Do you know how he's so rich? He is so rich because he delivers like haul-away dumpsters and porta potties to work sites, and he doesn't do a lick of it himself. He has other people do it. He hires a manager to take care of it. He sits back and watches the cash roll in. This is the kind of thing that he can help you with, and it could be a job that you wouldn't even think about, a franchise you wouldn't think about. This is what he can help you with. MyPerfectFranchise.net. Andy Ludecky, he's our friend. We're going to go tomorrow, Cody, and get some char-grilled oysters with our good friend Andy Ludecky and have a great time doing it while we're here in Mobile. So pumped to have everybody here in the Specs chat line. Thanks so much to Specs again for having us. Cody, one other thing I wanted to talk about before we got out was Ketchum. Yep. Putting in 7 future casts coming out of Junior Day. Okay, so
I'll pull them up on my phone. So it was first and foremost, it was Turntine, John Turntine,
yep.
High 4-star, 6.0, high 4-star offensive tackle.
There's Jalen Lott,
who is Jalen Lott and Jamarian Carlton, who are 3 of his highest 4-ranked players in the LSR Top 100.
Yes, and then there was the safety, the corner, and we've talked about Carlton.
Carlton.
Texas needs Carlton.
Carlton's the one I said was up
there in Temple.
Felix Ojo, who we just talked about. Caden Finley, who's the legacy.
Caden Finley, Jermichael Finley's kid.
Chase Calicut, who's 6'4", 195 pounds.
He's the safety.
High 4-star safety from North Shore, who everything he's posted on X the last week has been like Jonah Williams is like recruiting into him. And then Brock King, 5'10", 165-pound corner from Port Arthur, is a 5.63 star.
You start out 2026 with Diabell plus this group. Are you like that? I think they're trending towards another like number 1 class in the whole nation.
That's 5.9, high 4 stars. Jamarian Carlton, who's gonna be a 5-star.
Gonna be a 5-star
by the end of the whole conversation, and then Turntine, who is a 5-star. So,
yep.
That's trending towards a top 3 class for the 4th consecutive year. So,
yeah, no, and so like we have Elias saying we're going to need at least 6 offensive linemen in the 2026 class.
Well, that's the thing we were talking about earlier, though. Like, they love Turntine, they love Ojo, Krempin. They went out and saw Lamar Brown today. Like, if they come away, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, 6 is a high number, but would I be shocked, Alex, if they come out of this next cycle with 4 4-star offensive linemen? No.
Well, what? 1 5-star and 3
4.
4
Okay, I should say 4.
4-star plus.
4-star plus. I think that's a good number to think about.
I don't think 6 is. I'm not sure 6 is going to be too likely. But then again, I mean, you can't forget about there are guys that are going to end up being good. I mean, who knows if like
the Coleman guys.
Yeah, like that they could be good, or like Jaden Chapman could be good. Jackson Christian, like could he be good, right?
John Mitt. Just kidding.
I don't know really about like Connor Stroh or these kinds of guys. I think
I think one of Stroh or Kojo is going to hit. I think one of those 2 guys is going to hit.
Well,
I trust it. I trust it.
But somebody mentions Kibble, like just a dude. He says he really likes Nate Kibble. So here's a hot take. He thinks Nate Kibble will win a starting job next year. I don't think that there's. I could be totally wrong about this, but if Nate Kibble wins a starting job over, I mean that'll be quite. He's not winning one over DJ Campbell, but if he can win one over NATO / Cole Hudson /
When you say it out loud, it's not that hot. I mean,
it's not. What, his take's not that hot?
When you say it out loud like that, he would beat NATO. He would beat NATO and Cole Hudson. You're like,
then, dude, NATO's been better this year.
I'm just saying, another year could kibble this spring and summer. Like, I don't know. I don't. Did I know that Goosby was going to show up in week 12 and do that?
Yeah, I guess if Goosby can do it.
I think it's a hot take. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a hot take, but also like we're talking about the Coleman guys and Christian, and
we'll see, man. We're gonna get to interview all these guys at the combine that are kind of coming out, and we'll ask Banks, we'll ask Connor, we'll ask Jake Majors, all the rest of them, kind of what they think about these young offensive linemen. Money B saying that Hayden Connor mentioned Kibble as a dude to watch. So if that's the case, man, we will continue watching. Any final takeaways from day one at the Senior Bowl? Anything you want to get off your chest?
Day one Senior Bowl recap final thought, Texas-centric last thought. Something that went through my mind a lot today, Alex, was one, how like confused I am and upset that there's only one Longhorn here. But it's going to be crazy that we're going to go to the NFL draft and there's going to be 30, maybe 31, maybe 32 players drafted from that Ohio State-Texas game. And one player will have competed in an all-star game, and it's Barron Sorrell.
Well, it's because they went so long doing it.
No, I know, but I'm just saying from a talent perspective, like there wasn't a Gavin Holmes, there wasn't somebody like Vernon Broughton was one that opted out, and I was like, Vernon Broughton,
he needed to be.
He needed to be here.
Yeah.
But it's going to be just crazy to understand that and see how much talent was on that field for Texas Ohio State. One single dog in Barron Sorrell was here.
I'll just say that the guy from Alabama A&M, what's his last name?
Carson Vincent.
Have we talked about him on this show, or was that earlier?
I think we did, but there's no like.
Gosh, you guys need to just.
If you were ever going to go out on a take and be like, "Yo, that thing could be like the next Jonathan Ogden,"
yeah,
no BS.
Well, just keep your eye on Alabama. I know you haven't watched much Alabama State.
Sounds nuts. A&M.
Alabama A&M. What? Either one. I haven't watched much of either one.
This kid, dude. Oh my gosh.
He's but like you just look at him, you just say they just drew a cartoon of a perfect left tackle. So keep an eye on that one. Now, you can email us, fwfemails@gmail.com. You can find Cody on X at Cody Carpentier. You can find me at Alex Dunlap NFL. Of course, we're here every night. This week, a little bit different as far as what we're going to be up to. We'll be here tonight, of course, as we've been. If you're watching it tomorrow, man, thank you guys so much. We'll be here on Wednesday after the show. Thursday, no show. We'll be flying home. We'll be back for a Final Takes Friday. Yeah. So, and then after that, until the Combine, we will be back at our normal schedule. We're here every single night on the weekdays from 6 to 7 p.m. Central Time. All we can ask is please like the show. Please subscribe to the channel. We'd like to get in, get out, talk football, and not waste your time, right? So thank you guys. And remember, tell your friends, right? Just keep coming back, man. We love y'all. God bless y'all. For Cody, I'm Alex. We're done.